Going to be moving on to our reporter, Abra Barbier, who's joining us live from the Western Cape Results Operations Centre. Abra, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. What's the latest on your side?
Good afternoon to you as well. Do you know, I always say I studied journalism to avoid having to deal with numbers. And then you have times like this, elections, where all that we are speaking about is percentages and formula and numbers and seat allocations. But luckily, I'm not the one who has to break that down. We have experts like Professor Cheryl Africa of the University of the Western Cape, who's going to help us understand and, of course, help the viewer also have a clearer picture of what exactly is happening here in the Western Cape. Prof, thank you again for your time. Let's just talk about trends. Are things still on trend, as they say?
So I would say they are on trend. The bigger parties, the trends are remaining the same, with the DA taking the lead, of course, and retaining the majority, and then the ANC, and then, of course, we've got now the Patriotic Alliance and the EFF. What's changed since last night is that three parties look like they might be able to obtain a seat. We don't know as yet. It's borderline. And those parties would be the ACDP, Al Jamaa, and then also Good. So that's a difference in the trend since last night.
Prof, just one thing I want to ask you. Going into the elections, you and I spoke, and you spoke about race politics and how you are hoping that political parties don't pander to race politics because it's so dangerous. But a big discussion and discourse in the Western Cape is this rise of coloured nationalism. And we see a party like the PA, for instance, where they have openly said, we are here for the coloured people, we are here for the coloured people. The party also says they are not a coloured party, they are a colourful party, and that they are here for everybody. How does this kind of narrative bode for the Western Cape?
So I'll be very cautious about that narrative. In fact, we're starting to see some explanations emerge regarding support for the PA, and it's centering around, as you say, the so-called coloured nationalism. To me, that is a simplistic argument. It might be true at a descriptive level, but it is quite complex. And what I'm not saying is that we must be colourblind. We know that in the Western Cape, people have very racialized experiences. We've got apartheid spatial patterns which persist. There is vast socio-economic differences, etc. And so, yes, the PA might have appealed to a particular segment, being the coloured community, but then when we go deeper, we've got to ask questions like, why were they able to make that appeal? What is the vacuum in other parties? Why are other parties not able to fill that vacuum? And the main problem of centering the explanation around demographic analysis and focusing on the coloured vote is that it allows political parties off the hook. Because when we do the reflections, political parties need to be asking themselves questions, introspective questions. And so I would be very, very cautious, because the Western Cape is a unique province. From 1994, we've seen that the electorate is far more non-partisan than the rest of the country. In 1994, there were much lower levels of party identification, which ended up with three different political parties assuming power in the province, meaning that the electorate is willing to reward and punish parties. That is an engaged electorate. So now to resort to explanations which just says, oh, it's the coloured vote, to me it's highly problematic, and we need to re-look at it and look deeper at the explanations.
Prof. Africa, thank you so much. Well, there you have it, Professor Cheryl Africa explaining to us. And what I've also been hearing over the last, say, 24 hours is that parties say that once everything is done, everything is tallied, everything is over, they themselves are going to be going back to the table. For those who have hits, for those who have misses, they're all going to be going back to the drawing board to see exactly what it is that they did right or wrong, which obviously impacted on their numbers. But that obviously is a story that's going to be unfolding within the next few days. Studio, back to you.